This will help you unlock your potential. Many people dream of being successful, fulfilled, and having enough money to realize their lives, their desires, their dreams. But unfortunately, not everyone succeeds in this. So today, let's first examine the reasons that block you from success and self-realization, from fully unlocking your full potential. And then we will talk about what needs to be changed within yourself to ultimately move towards unlocking your potential. Because I believe that every person is born into this world with certain abilities, with certain talents, but in the process of development, in the process of upbringing, all these abilities and talents, unfortunately, are often just destroyed by the methods of upbringing that are usually applied to a child. Our parents. Read the book, The Drama of the Gifted Child by Alice Miller, where she vividly describes how anyone can fly into space, become a famous singer, be fully realized at 100%, but what happens during their psychological development, it completely destroys. And the child even forgets all their dreams, all their abilities and talents. With you, I am psychologist Yulia Latunenko, and as always, today we will talk about the most important topic probably for every social person. And I ask, as usual, to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. This is your first visit. So, as I said, in order to understand what needs to be done, in which direction to move to realize and fully unlock your potential, we need to understand our blocks that hinder us, that put us in a dead end, and that can close off many great opportunities for us for many years, and even into old age. Many of you have artistic abilities, but have not become a famous artist. Many of you write beautiful poems, but still, and have not published a single book, while someone writes novels and stores the pages away, no longer dreaming that one day this book could become a bestseller. Someone has athletic abilities, but has never won a competition. Someone has abilities as a doctor because they have great empathy, or as a psychologist, but have not become a professional in this field. Therefore, we need to figure out with you what exactly prevents a person from fully opening up, from reaching their full potential. The secret is that at some point in our childhood, we developed a profound sense of shame and fear. The fear of receiving negative feedback, the fear of being a loser, the fear that if things don't work out, people will laugh at me. And this is the childhood experience that we have already gone through, because we received a lot of such experiences in our interactions with our parents, as well as in school, in our interactions with our classmates, and we did not receive support. In the family, when there was such strong frustration, when we experienced shame, when we compared ourselves to others, solution, children, and even parents and teachers helped us lose in this competition because they compared us unfavorably, because they were focused on what was wrong in us. Little attention was paid to what we have, to what is wonderful about us. Succeeds. That is, the child was not supported in having certain abilities, and emphasis was not placed on developing these abilities, but on the contrary, the child was supported in their inadequacy. And in this way, In this way, the child developed a total shame for themselves. Such a child stopped believing at some point that they could succeed in anything. And even if they had some ideas to do something, their own thing, to become famous, to be successful in some field. And such a child might even suspect that they are excellent at writing poems, or songs, or music. But in their mind, there were always those familiar thoughts that adults had instilled since childhood. Oh, and you won't succeed in anything. And there are many people who do all this much better than you. And about, why dream of flying among the stars when your place on earth is to crawl? Well, maybe they didn't say it in such a manner, but they made it clear that you won't succeed because you're worthless, because you're not enough. Such parents usually set very high expectations for the child, and such a child could never meet those expectations. Once, I saw a grandmother teaching a boy at the sea to swim, and she told him to swim, swim, swim to her, and kept moving away, moving away, moving away, while the boy swam. He swam with all his remaining strength and couldn't reach his grandmother, and she even humiliated and insulted him. She said, "Oh, you fool, you can't swim to me," and kept moving away, and moving away. In other words, the expectations were unreasonable. She didn't even let him experience the taste of victory that he at least swam somewhere. That's how many people live in that shame, believing they are losers, that they will never manage to reach some boundary they have set for themselves. And the problem is also that they set a very high bar, take on too much, set it up, and already know in advance that, well, I definitely won't reach there. Therefore, such people need to learn to live with minimum plans, that is, to make plans for each day, maybe for each month, and not to look too far ahead, like 10 years into the future, when people already start seeing a laurel wreath around their neck and the applause of the audience, or there is a big gap between point A and point B. Between point A and point B, where we wish to reach, there are still many small steps that we need to go through as students, gaining our negative experience. Because only through negative experience do people learn to become professionals. Every professional has unsuccessful cases, and it is on these that professionals learn best. But a person who was constantly told in childhood that they are a failure, that they will not succeed, every negative experience, every such step is like the death of self-respect. And so such a child, such a person tries to avoid, to bypass all these steps to the result, because they are afraid of falling and feeling that total shame of being a failure. But believe me, people experience these feelings on their way to professionalism. Therefore, it is necessary to learn to cope with the fact that something didn't work out for me and to treat it as a negative result. If something didn't work out for me and I have a negative experience, it means that now I know how not to do it. And that is also a wonderful experience. So what is holding you back? Your shame and fear of facing negative evaluation and shame from childhood. You were shaped during upbringing as an incomplete person. That's how you treat yourself. And the first thing you need to change is your attitude towards yourself. You always think when you start something that many have already done it, and what if I start doing it? Some professionals will come running and say, "Oh, what are you talking about?" But acknowledging yourself as a learner on the path to professionalism is the first thing you need to do. I am a learner. I might not know something. I am still learning. Acknowledging this honestly and bravely means unlocking those blocks of shame that prevent moving forward. Set goals, not too far ahead, but at least minimal goals. And every day, or do something moving forward towards unlocking your potential. There is another thing that hinders you. If you were raised in narcissistic families, where you were not valued, where you were not trusted, where you were told that you would not succeed because you were somehow stupid, a failure, a bungler, where you were compared to other children, not in your turn, not in your favor. All these beliefs inherited by you in childhood, they block your progress. You need to realize this and replace them with other beliefs. I will succeed. I have the right to make mistakes. I have the right to go through the path of a learner, and I will do what I enjoy. Because self-realization is precisely the work of your life that you love, that interests you. The work that benefits other people. And you have achieved it and succeeded again. And these other people pay you money for it. This is the definition of self-realization and the unlocking of your potential. But it often happens that people don't even know which direction to move in because usually their parents decided everything for them. And then even deeper work needs to be done. You need to delve deeper into your childhood and remember what you loved doing the most, what activities brought you pleasure and joy. And maybe, even if it was blowing soap bubbles from the 10th floor down, perhaps you could turn that into a creative idea and unlock your potential. But you just need to remember what you really liked back then, or what brings you satisfaction right now. If drinking different flavors of tea brings you satisfaction right now, then why couldn't that be your business? I once had a client who worked and earned very well at a catering company that organized various events. She was the lead manager there. She earned quite well because she was a top manager. Then at one point she realizes that she really likes Facebook because she spends all her time on Facebook. She drops everything, becomes an SMM manager on Facebook, packs her things and moves to Vietnam. There, of course, the housing is cheap and she has some savings. She takes a break to find her clients on Facebook, and in this way, she found herself and her calling. She felt in her soul what it means to be herself and to be honest and sincere with herself. I believe that she is a happy person. I have another case where a 24-year-old guy who is my ex-husband, who worked as a senior inspector in the tax office. Suddenly decided one day to quit and dedicate his entire life to astrology. At the moment, he is a well-known astrologer in Ukraine, very famous. That's how people change their lives, because they start to feel their inner voice, the voice of their creative child, which says, you need to go there. You find it interesting there. But there is another trap on the path to unlocking your inner potential. And before I tell you, I remind you that if you are visiting my channel for the first time, please subscribe and give it a like. And write do you have it, the matter of your whole life, which interests you, and does it bring you satisfaction and material benefits? Satisfaction. Are you satisfied with the work you are doing? So what else greatly hinders us is the position of scarcity. Since we were raised in childhood to believe that we are not enough, we failures, nothing will work out for us. We develop a scarcity mindset, a deficient attitude towards the world. And we believe that the world, which is an analog of our parental family, because a child perceives the family as their first world, and thus a person relates to the world in such a way that there are no resources for me in the world. I am powerless. I cannot reach out in this world and take everything I need because everything has already been taken. And I didn't make it. I'm a failure. Nothing will work out for me. I only have deficits. I have nothing to live on, nothing to feed my children with, nothing to feed myself with. I have no resources of my own. I don't know how to earn money. I'm not interested in anything. I don't know where to go. These are such lost children in the cosmos, who were once devalued, and many decisions were made by their parents for them. Therefore, you need to realize all this and understand that you need to change this position of deficit to a position of abundance, because your parents were wrong. In fact, everything you need exists in this world, and you need to realize this and repeat the antithesis every day. In this world, there is everything I need. In this world, there are all the people I need. In this world, there are all the resources I can just reach out and take. But I need to do something every day to be abundant. Just sitting on a pile of junk and repeating affirmations, that's not how anything works. You need to take some action. As I said, when I dreamed of becoming a songwriter, and I became one. But the first thing I did was dream and write little notes to myself under the pillow that I would be writing lyrics for famous singers of Ukraine and beyond. And in 2005, I was awarded a winner's diploma at the Hit Parade for the song City of Green Color. This is all my work. I wrote every day. I searched for composers and recording studios every day. These were not just dreams. They were dreams filled with actions. So, a dream plus action is the key. And one more small remark before I finish my inspired speech on this topic. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Give it a like. Don't forget, it's very important for my channel. Thanks to you, we made 37 coffees in 2 days. And that's wonderful. I am very, very grateful for your activities. So I will try to provide you with the most interesting psychology content that will help you improve your life. So another point that will help you unlock your potential. Usually all masterpieces were created when people entered the creative process and didn't even think about the result. This is, as I have already given such a metaphor, that when a dancer dances on stage performing a complex dance, he tries to dance it with inspiration, but all his thoughts are focused on how in 5 minutes he will finish his dance and the whole hall will applaud him and he will be happy, basking in the spotlight and glory. So please tell me, if a person's thoughts during the dance are about the future, about the laurel wreath around the neck, about the applause, will such a person perform an inspired dance? Will their dance be of high quality? Will any creative process be of high quality when a person is thinking about the result, the successful moment, when they need to be immersed in the process? Therefore, when you start something, any task, be creative. And being creative means trying to be present. Be in the moment, here and now, enjoying the process. But many people do the opposite. They are not present in the process. They do not enjoy the process. They derive pleasure from thoughts about how it will be when the book becomes a bestseller, when The song becomes a hit. But you cannot create this, an inspired, high-quality creative product, without being here and now. When I was writing my book, Red Fish in Black Water, I lived through the fate of each character. I cried for each character. I was in the body of each character. Even if the character was negative, I still lived through the fate of each character. And I never thought about the fact that someday I would publish this book and it would become a bestseller, but I am working on it right now. When a book is written little by little, I am moving towards publishing this book. But while it was being written, I had no thoughts about the outcome or fame. I was completely absorbed in my creativity. And I believe that this is the best way to create creative, quality products and to fully reveal your potential. Lucas. That's what they're shouting now. Lucas, 7 on Jose.
Josie, come to mommy. Come to mommy. Mommy is here. Josie. Sorry, but Lucas has arrived. Lucas, show yourself. We have a hero rascal. We also have this kind of kitty. He's a hero rascal. He never comes to mommy's arms. He misbehaves. He always has creative idea on how to misbehave, how to create a creative process. Need. What, Lucas? All right, we are saying goodbye to you. Lucas says goodbye to you until we meet again.